All of that.
This is cool.
All of that.
I'm surprised you ain't asked us our top 5.
Yeah,
Dead or
top 5. Yeah, R&B money. Y'all can keep that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't say Chris Brown either on my part when I was
Oh
talking
my
about this.
God.
Great. Which is insane.
Which is insane. I know I didn't say it.
Breezy.
And I want to go on record. Y'all keep this footage. Chris Brown is really the modern day Michael Jackson.
Say what's on your mind. Speak loud from within. Make us sing along with the power of the pen. Say what's on your mind. Speak loud from within.
Yo, what's up, everybody? What's good? My name is Estee Bullock, and you are now watching the 5th season and the first episode of Estee's Power of the Pen. Man, listen, I'm excited because this is the first segment that I've done in person, and my guest for today, all I got to say, I got a legend, a disruptor, and a chameleon in the studio today, and it's about to be crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my guests, Gerald Heyward, Hasan, and Corey Shipley. Mr. Root, I call him Hasan James and Corey Shipley.
I must be the legend.
Yeah. Yo, what's good, everybody?
What's up, man?
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Yo, this means so much to me, man. First, I want to say thank you guys for accepting the invitation and coming on today. We are a family, you know, but it just so happens that God has blessed us to do so many major things, right?
Yeah.
And so I just want to talk about that today. But before we get into that, I have to do this. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness, so we have to talk. We have to talk like the real talk. How you guys doing? Anybody could go first.
I'm doing okay. I'm
Yeah.
doing good. Mentally, I'm together. Everything is good. You know, I'm just living life. Had a birthday this month.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Had a Father's Day this month. You know what I mean?
Listen.
It's not as big as Mother's Day, but I'll take it. You know,
It's getting there.
I'll take it. It's not as big, but I'll take it.
Pause.
And no diddy. So
Hassan.
That's nasty.
Let's just go. Let's
Oh,
go
nasty work already. Okay.
That was nasty work.
Thank you for asking because, you know, people don't ask that,
Yeah.
especially amongst men. So I'm doing good. If you would have asked me a couple months ago, not so much. But now I'm in a good place, in a good space. And like Gerald says, listen, another Father's Day has come. We still here.
Yeah.
So we got to be thankful for that. And, you know, half the year is gone. And God is good, man. Can't complain. But
He is good.
mentally, I'm doing well.
That's what's up, man. Corey, how you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. You know, life is good.
Yeah.
Life is good. Like everybody's saying, Father's Day. My son just graduated from the 5th grade yesterday.
Congratulations.
On middle school.
That's
you know,
awesome, man.
Good time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Corey, I want to stay with you since I'm talking to you now, man. So let's listen. Look. Ricky Dillard releases his new album, his last project, which is called Choir Master 2.
Yeah.
And I believe his first single off the project was Hold On.
Yes, sir.
Man, bro, like songwriter. Like, how did that feel, man? How does it feel?
Oh man, it feels well. First, it's a humbling honor. Like you know, I was at the recording session, and like the way it went, I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then like after it was over, everybody's like, yo, you know you got the single, right? And I was like, nah, I ain't got. There's so many great songs on this record.
Yeah.
And it was like, nah, Doc, you got the single. And I was like, all right, whatever. And so, you know, in the back of my mind, I hear everybody saying that. But then when the call came, I was like, oh, shoot, I got the single. Like, it blew my mind. It was crazy.
First of all, it's so awesome to see it. It's so awesome to see it and to hear it.
Yeah.
And to just go on social media and see another church, another praise team, another conference singing your song.
Right.
Like every time you go on social media, it's another video surfacing with them singing your song, man.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Thank
God
you,
bless
man.
you.
Yes.
When did you start songwriting, Corey?
Oh, wow. I want to say it's about probably like 94, 95.
Okay. All right. Now, what's crazy about that is this. How many songs would you say between that time and now you've had on this level that were placed?
None.
That right there is huge. That's a huge testimony, right?
Yeah.
First of all, big ups to you for not quitting. Big ups to you for keep going.
Yeah.
That you kept on going, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't know that's watching, I'm talking to the chameleon right now. Corey is a drummer. He's a choir director. He's a songwriter. He can preach. You know, he'll do almost anything and be excellent at whatever he does.
Yeah.
You know, and I salute you, man, because the people that are out here now aspiring to do what you have done might not wait that long.
Right.
And might give up, you know, and might think that it's never going to happen. But look what happened for you.
Yeah,
right?
most certainly, yeah.
So we talking about time. We got to go to Root. Root, man, you can ready to celebrate 15 years
Crazy.
as a
15
magazine editor-in-chief.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big ups to you, bro.
Yeah.
Big ups, man.
Good job.
Now, I have to talk about this because I've been in this man's life for a long time. And at one point, I was like his roadie.
We were going everywhere.
We was
to the
going
end of the turnpike.
Going everywhere. Hasan's like, yo, S, I got to go to this festival. Yo, S, I got to go do this. Yo, you free? And we would just jump in the car and go. And he was trying to really get his magazine scene. I want to talk about this too. Now, let's just put this out there. Before Maverick City, you was actually the one bigging up CCM Music.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Would you let the people know?
Yo, we were going to Creation Festival. We was out there with the CCM people,
Yeah,
with
Group
the
One
trailers
crew.
and RVs,
Yeah.
Group One crew. It was a couple of other really major known groups.
Torrin
in the
Wells.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so you were doing this thing for a long time, and again, somebody who didn't give up.
Yeah.
Right? You kept going, and now 15 years in, everybody knows your name. Everybody knows Root Magazine. You know what I'm saying? How has that been for you, man? How has this journey been for you?
It's been good. It's peaks and valleys.
I had that on my card. Highs and
Yeah.
lows.
People see, social media is funny because they
Yeah.
see things. Oh, you're on vacation. You do this, you this place, you that place, but they don't know the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Especially as an entrepreneur,
Right.
where you have those, big money days or money weeks, and then where it's a dry season.
Yeah.
Where I can just pay the mortgage in my car note. People don't
Wow.
see that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's great. I'm glad I'm my own boss,
Yes, you are.
but sacrifices come with that, man.
Right.
And I got to big up even my wife for
Yeah.
sticking, because she didn't sign up to be with an entrepreneur. I had a 9 to 5. It's that comfortability of a 9 to 5, right? So in the beginning, them first 5-6 years,
Yeah.
whew,
Rocky.
it was rocky. It was rocky, but after that, it's sustainable, and you can maintain it. But it's good, man. It's good to see my vision come to pass, and to kind of help other people, because now I also have a consulting firm where I consult as
Let's
well.
go.
Root Consulting. So I got a few
Yeah.
artists that I consult. So those things are rewarding, because a lot of people, some people come in the industry and they don't know what to do. They don't know about, about publishing, and just, the IRSC code for your songs, and
Right.
all, it's like a
Yes.
Social Security. They don't know anything
At all.
about, nothing. So to kind of help navigate up and coming artists, it's been really rewarding. And then to celebrate 15 years, this year in Vegas is going to be pretty dope.
I know it is, man.
Yeah, because 10 was crazy.
10, First of all, the fact that you are 10 years in.
15.
I know 10 years in, but now 15,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's some churches that have not lasted as long as your magazine. There's
Yeah.
some businesses that have not lasted
Yeah.
have not lasted as long as your magazine. Big ups to you, bro. Like,
Yeah.
for you to endure the highs and lows.
Yeah.
For you to get through COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man, that was tough.
For you to get through COVID.
No
and-
PPP loan.
Oh my God.
I kept getting denied.
You're
I don't
not
know
going
why.
to jail. You're not
It
going
must
to
have
jail,
been
brother.
God must have been protecting me.
Listen.
I couldn't understand. I have a real business. I saw people with no businesses get the loans. I don't understand.
What they say, sometimes denial is God's protection.
Listen, for real.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you are still here.
Yeah.
I hope that it wasn't so bad that, you know, you had to do anything that you shouldn't do.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank God,
God
no.
forbid, right?
God covered me, man. And
But man, listen,
he supplied.
you have been doing this for a long time. You've even had the opportunity to have your magazine featured at award shows.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Stellas and like the GMA Doves, you know. And I think you've done a couple more events where you had your magazine, Premier Magazine, even the booklet with all the information in it, just so that people can get to know who you are, right?
Sure.
I'm looking through your social media and I'm seeing all of these people that is just holding up your magazine. You got T.D. Jakes, you got Kirk Franklin, you got Fantasia, you got I think there was one you had a picture with Brandy, and you got all these people holding up Root Magazine. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me ask you this. Is the achievement the goal? Like, was that your objective for doing the magazine? What was your reason for doing the magazine? Was it just to be known?
No, not at all. My reason really was I didn't see anything that spoke to me. Like, because y'all know me, I love hip hop.
Right.
You know, I love R&B, I love gospel. So it was like I needed like a fusion. I was always a reader of magazines and books.
Yes.
And you know, the Source magazine, Vibe magazine, that was my thing.
Yeah.
So I wanted something edgy like that, but for gospel music.
Right.
So basically, that was really it. Not to be known. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about printing or anything like that.
So you kind of was learning as you go.
I was learning as I went. I worked in advertising, and so I had some people there to kind of help me put together, you know, like a prototype.
Okay.
And then, you know, I had to go from there. I got to shout out Harry Dawkins.
Yes.
Because I told him about my vision. He was like, all right, let's do it. I'll give you some seed money.
Nice.
Let's do it. We got a proposal done and all that. So in those beginning stages, like to have people like that, you know, support and believe in your vision.
Yeah.
You know, you don't always get that. So from there, then I met Fatima. It's all about relationship. Cause I got to shout out John Manley, because I was like, do you know anybody that could like help with a magazine? Oh, I know this girl Fatima. She's you know, a graphic artist. And then I started working with her. We worked together for like 10 to 12 years. And then I have a new designer now, Blair Monique. So it's all about just relationship. This whole industry, and you know this too, Corey, and Gerald. Forget about it.
Yeah.
It's about relationships and being integral.
Yeah. Being integral.
Yeah.
That right there is the key word. Yeah. Integrity will take you way further than your experience and ability.
Yeah.
People don't want to be around somebody they can't tolerate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, all right, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, this guy right here is a legend. He is my brother-in-law, but I call him my brother. I take that in-law out. He means that much to me. When you talk about the word support, this guy right here brought me my first mechanism to start recording demos in my house, so that I didn't have to travel up to New Jersey at 2:00 in the morning and be in the studio. My wife was like, "I need you at home." You know, he kept me home and got me to think about another way of creating so that I can balance my life, right? But he's just great. Like, he's great. He's supportive. And I'm talking about none other than Gerald Heyward. Oh, my God.
Yo.
This guy right here, Gerald, man, there's so many questions that I have for you, but I'm going to try to narrow them down. What I do want to talk to you about right up front is the Drummers Fantasy Camp.
Yeah.
That's coming up at VUU.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, talk to us about that, man. Like, what is that and how did that come to be?
Well, you know, that's Bishop Walker's program.
His university,
right?
school.
It's his
right.
program.
Yeah.
But, you know, Michelle Clay is over all of that. And she has acquired some grants to do such thing.
We need some funding.
I told her that I've done Drum Fantasy Camp in Croatia before.
Wow.
And, you know, the whole thing is like, it's like a week full of, you know, learning about drums.
Yeah.
You know, learning different things about drums and then learning how to be a musician. You know, it's a lot of nuances where, you know, your character goes kind of further than your skill,
Yeah.
your skill set or your talent. So, like, it was all put together, and I decided to help Michelle this first year and get it going.
Yeah.
Because I'm really excited about, you know, being able to teach. I'm really excited about being able to teach. I wanted to do a gospel drumming course at the same school.
Okay.
Throughout the year, but we have to try to figure out how do we present it, because it's really like one class, which it needs to be in a what you call like a package.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? So the kids, you know, so they're not going to borrow money for just one class.
Right.
So we want them to borrow money for the package, and then they get my class in that package.
Which all in itself is going to be an experience.
Right. It's going to be a whole experience. And, you know, I got a couple of students from high school that's in the area, and they're coming to the camp for free.
Nice.
Actually. And they're coming and they're staying in the dorms, and they're getting the full experience.
And this is going to be at Virginia Union, right?
Virginia Union.
Wow.
It's going to be, you know, they're getting the whole full experience, and they're going to learn about drums. They're going to learn how to be a musician, how to be, you know, I'm a drummer from church.
Yeah.
You know, that crossed over into the secular industry. And, you know, I just got a lot that I can share with them.
Let me ask you this, Gerald. Are you doing this because at their age, when you were their age, you didn't have someone to give this to you? Is that your motivation behind doing it?
That's exactly it. Because I did a lot of things to try to enhance my talent when I got the information
without the internet.
Right. when I got the information that I needed to enhance my talent. You know, because I'm a percussion player. I'm a conga player. That's my first instrument.
Wow.
Right? That's my first instrument. The drummer stopped coming to church.
I
got on the drums. I got on the drums, and everybody's like, "Yo, you should play the drums." And I've been playing the drums ever since.
That's crazy.
So, but
and that was in church?
That was in church.
You got footage?
No. I wish. But with that being said, it was like I didn't know that you can be paid for being a professional drummer. I didn't know that. You know, it's a lot of things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I hear my nephew, you know, Ethan, he says to me, you know, Uncle, I want a gig. I want to do a gig.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, you know, that sound good, but it's a whole lot of process that you have to go through to get to that point.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, I was blessed enough, and God gave me the talent enough to go from the church to the stage. I didn't go from the church to the club by the way of the stage. I went straight to the stage. So with that being said, but there's a whole process missing that these guys have to now go through because I'm you know, God is I'm just special. I'm special like the Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? Like I'm special, like, because you know, he went from high school to the NBA.
Yeah,
and that's how it went for me. It's like, I went from the church straight to the stage. So all
Big
the
stage.
all the in between, I don't know about.
What stages?
Crazy.
Let's tell us what stages.
It's a
People
lot.
know some stages.
Yeah.
It's plenty of stages.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I shared a stage with Mary J. I shared a stage with Beyonce. I shared a stage with Stevie Wonder. Like
one of my questions for you, Gerald, is this, man. And you're right in the vein of what I was going to talk about. I've talked to you about this before, and I still want you to do it. Right. I told Gerald on Spotify and Apple Music there needs to be a Gerald Heyward playlist, right? So that people can go to it and listen to this. If there was to be a Gerald Heyward playlist based on the people you've worked with and played for, who would be on that playlist?
That's good. That's good.
So
let's go.
So number one, and I know that this is Hasan's number one too. Brandy.
Come on.
Yes.
Now, I never went on tour with Brandy, but I played on one of her most profound albums.
Yes, sir.
Which is Full Moon.
Full Moon.
No debate.
And that's when I found out that, yo, this girl can really sing. This is not
Talk that talk, Gerald
Heyward. like I'm walking in on a Moesha vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm listening, I'm like, wait, this is not that.
Yeah.
So Brandy would be top.
Okay.
Top one. I'm really I love Mary.
Yes, sir.
Beyonce.
Yes, sir.
I got the chance to play on the Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
This is his
I thought you were
playlist,
gonna
y'all.
start with that.
This is the Gerald Heyward playlist,
The
y'all.
Michael Jackson.
Keep going.
I got to play on some Michael Jackson records, so he would be on that list.
Yes, sir.
Also, I got to play with this guy named Rob Thomas.
Yep.
And Rob Thomas is the lead singer for Matchbox 20. And he was like so far out of my zone as far as the type of artist that I play with.
Right.
Like it was it was just like an out of body experience when I played on his album. His first solo album. I played the whole album.
Read the credits, folks.
But I got that job because I was on stage with Mary J. Blige.
Oh, wow.
The production manager was the production manager for Matchbox 20 and the Goo Goo Dolls.
Wow.
And he told Rob Thomas.
You never know who's in the room.
He told Rob Thomas, he said, yo, you got to come hear this drummer.
Oh, that's incredible.
He said, Mary's drummer is amazing. You got to come hear him. And I wasn't only the drummer at the time. I was the musical director as well. So we get to Radio City. But at this time, I'm telling a story real quick. At this time.
Now you good.
At this time, I've been away from my wife for 6 or 7 months.
Woo!
Right? So
we could talk about that too.
listen, we get to radio.
Goodness.
We get to Radio City. So I'm like, yo, bro, like I'm playing, and once the last beat is played, I'm in my car
and I'm going
to my wife. Bruh. So I left. Rob Thomas came to that show. And so when the production manager was like, okay, I'm going to introduce you to Gerald, I was gone.
You was gone.
I was so gone. So he came to that show, and fast forward, I go, I do the record, I do the one song. And as I do the one song, Rob is standing there. He's like, yo, I need you to do my
I got like a couple of more songs.
He's like, I need you to do my whole record.
Yo.
And he was like, I need you for
Yes.
2.5.
Don't we love that?
So listen, he goes, I need you for 2.5 months. And he was like, you could just keep the day rate. So the day rate that he was already paying me, but he was like, I'm going to pay you that per day for 2.5 months. Oh, wow. I did his record. It was amazing. Then I found out like Ty Tribbett sing background on the record and all of that.
Yeah.
So like they come to me one service or something, and Ty go, yo, you play for this guy named Rob Thomas? Yo, we sing background on the record. I'm like, what? And Robert Randolph and all of them guys like was on that record. And that was like, it was just such an out of body experience for me because I'm so, I'm here. Like I was blessed to dominate this portion of the industry.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was happy with that.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was just something
God
that
was like,
just,
yeah, I got more for you.
So like, Rob would be like my number
gotta be on
5.
there.
That's like my best, my top 5.
First of all, the 5 you picked.
Right.
Crazy.
That's
The
my
5
top
you
5.
picked is already crazy, and
That's my
not
top
even
5.
that. It don't even stop there. All right,
Yeah.
we're talking about songs and
Right.
playlists. Corey, let me ask you this: do you know when it's a hit song?
Do I know when it's someone?
Do you know when the song is a hit song? Because now the reason why I'm asking you this is I've seen people on social media, I've seen people posting, and they're like, "Yeah, we hit makers. We got another hit on deck." They talk that talk because things are sounding really great, right? But the truth is, well, I'm gonna let you answer the question, and I'm gonna tell the truth about it. Do you know when it's a hit song, Corey?
I'm gonna have to say no, because in my eyes and my ears, is really predicated upon radio, and it's predicated upon the listeners.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if the listeners are not really feeling it, it's not a hit.
Yeah.
And then the other thing you really gotta realize is that there are more listeners outside of what you think.
Oh my
Right.
God.
You know,
Yes.
there's a whole nother crowd that you don't even know.
Yeah.
That's really listening to like the radio or listening to what's going on Apple Music, Spotify, or whatever. That you don't even know. You probably even be like, you listen to that,
Right.
Right.
and, you know, and that's what guarantees you know, a hit for me.
That's one of the things that I despise about the social media.
Yeah.
Algorithms is that I see all of my friends on social media. I don't see nothing outside of people
Right,
that I know.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gauging activity based on everybody that I know, which is not reality, because there's a whole nother world. Just think about how when you go to these concerts and you see stadiums filled with people and you're wondering, oh, all of these people like this music? All of these people know who this artist is? You know, I was like that even when I first started doing well on my own with music, and then I got a Billboard magazine and saw the other people in the charts that I'd never heard of.
Right.
And I'm looking at the charts and I'm going, how are they in the top 10? I ain't never heard that song before.
Right.
But you know, that's because in my spectrum and in the radio that I listen to, they don't play that song. But there's countries and states and cities that got that in heavy rotation, you know? It's so crazy right now the way social media has our young people. And Gerald, you said something talking about how the young generation now is missing character,
Yep.
right?
Character's
And that's
important.
because they're seeing what's posted on social media, and social media looks like, oh, that is it in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Or that is powerful, or that's all I have to do, or if I just get that lick in that 15 to 60 second video, then I've done something. Not realizing, what about the practice?
Yeah.
What about the rehearsal? What about the experience? What about your integrity, right? What about you having character? What about you just being a nice person or a nice kid, you know? Because you could be real dope on the drums. You could be real dope as a songwriter. But if we put you in a room with somebody that you don't know, are you going to spaz out when they say, no, don't use that verse?
Right.
Right.
How about that, right? Like you, because like we talking about hit songs, right?
Yeah.
It's a hit to you. How many songs have you written that you thought were hits?
Right.
That don't nobody know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you go back and you're like, dang, I really thought this was gonna be the song.
Prime example. I wrote a song called "He Reigns." For me,
Yeah.
when I wrote it, I hated the song, and I let Zach Williams record it. It went to like number 15 or something like that on Billboard. I was like, what? Wait, I didn't even like that song. But I had to look at it. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's who's listening to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I love, Corey, man, I love the experience that I've had with you when it comes to songwriting. A lot of people don't know, but I got a song placed because you recorded a song that I wrote.
Right, yeah.
I wrote a song called Hand of the Lord. And one of the first people to record it was Corey and the Bishop's Choir.
Yep.
The next person to record it was William Richardson.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And they was playing it on local radio, and I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, I love the song. I hadn't even taught it to my church choir yet, you know, but I was like, it's a really cool song. And then next thing I know, Ricky's calling me, and he was like, nephew? He was like, I just heard a song, and they told me you wrote it. And I was like, what song is that? He was like, Hand of the Lord. And I was like, okay. In my mind, I might not have even submitted that to Ricky, because where they were at the time,
You thinking church?
I was thinking church. I wasn't thinking groove, you know, because that's got like a New York groove to it, right? But when I tell you that man recorded that song and put Tina Campbell on that song, and I was just like, you know,
Tina Campbell, one of my
listen, you know what I'm saying?
She is
Oh man, Hasan, man, I'm coming back to you because we got to talk about this. So the other day I'm on social media and I'm looking at Instagram and Twitter, and I saw how Elon Musk just had a meeting with Swiss Beats and Timbaland. And so they were getting ready to do verses all over again. Yeah. And I was shut down for a minute, and we don't really know all the ins and outs and whys, but for whatever reason, I think there's a dollar amount that was right now. So they're going to do it again. But, if anybody's been paying attention, my brother, back in 2016, was already doing verses on social media, right?
2009.
Was it that far back?
Yeah, I started Root Magazine. So initially we started as a website, right? And then we started like the print magazine maybe a year later. But on the website, I had this thing called Verses.
You
It
did.
was spelt like Verses.
Did you have that patented?
I did not.
Oh my God!
Womp womp.
Womp womp. This is why
Oh my
you have to patent your ideas. And
Ladies and
it's true.
gentlemen, please, if you
Please,
invent or create
patent your
something,
stuff.
please get it secured.
Yes, it was VERSES, like Verses.
Wow.
And the first artist I did Hezekiah Walker and Love Fellowship live in Toronto versus John P. Key.
And look how
New
Timberland and
Life.
them had
We
Bishop
walk
and
by
John
faith.
Key.
I had
Keep
people
going.
vote on the website.
Yes, you did.
Wow.
And it was like about a month or two, and then the winner was announced. Like a month later, like I did on Instagram. It was like nothing. It was a concept that I had. Versus. I'm not saying they got it from me. I'm just saying we get into a pandemic.
Yeah, man.
And look what happened. So yeah, I mean I can't be mad about it, but I know I'm an innovator.
Yes, you
That's
are.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you are.
And from now on, everything I do is patented.
Put it
Is-
down
you
on
know what I'm
paper.
saying?
So let me ask you this, because I posted this on my on that other app that came from Instagram, Threads, right?
Threads, yeah.
And I said this: what do you do, or how do you handle when you see somebody else create something that you had the idea to do, but they actually did it?
It's a dub.
But
It's a dub.
But do you give
Because
up
they
on
did
it and say, do you give up on it and say, Dad, you know what? I should have did it and somebody else did it, so I'm not going to do it? Or do you say, let me just do it my way? Because my way may gauge another
different.
audience,
Yeah,
you know?
maybe different.
So I think it's twofold. It's that, and then
Yeah.
it's one thing about creatives. When you have one idea, you have 100.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you go work on that next idea. Because like Gerald said, it's a dub now.
It's a dub.
What can you do?
Right.
I can't go to Swiss and Tim and they're like, that was my idea
Yeah,
first.
that was my
Look when this was documented. No, so I have plenty other ideas that have yet to come to fruition, but it will.
Yeah.
'Cause now I'm smarter now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You know, it's funny because with Hasan, he's the type of person. Remember when we used to have record labels?
Yeah.
And
Remember when we had record labels?
No, listen,
right?
when we used
For
to
real,
go,
we got 3 now.
no, when we used to go, the big record labels, when we used to go and you had something to do at the record label and they wind up giving you like all their product.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hasan was always the person that had all this music from people that we never heard of,
Yeah.
that we never, and it'd be like, yo, did you ever hear of such and such and such and such? He was like, oh yeah, they out of Atlanta, and yo, I had a CD like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And so like, yo, so I always admire Hasan's musical like appetite for just all types of music. Like he
he said,
never
fusion.
he never discriminated. Like it's like, yo, all these free CDs, yeah, I'm taking all of these. And he listens to it. He listens to them and he would put us up on stuff that it's like, yo, who is that?
Right.
Like I don't even know who this is. I remember a long time ago when the Brooklyn church kind of first started. No, like when we got the second building, when we got off of Pacific Street. And I remember Earl and probably like
Crack
Rudy
dealer with the CD
or
dealer.
somebody, and they was playing Kim Burrell in between services.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yo, who is this
Wow.
lady?
First album.
And Earl and them
First
was going, yo, it's this girl named Kim Burrell. And like, I'm like, yo, that's amazing. Even as a musician, I'm one of them people that like, I could put something on and be like, yeah, I'm forward.
Right.
But yo, he listens and then he analyzes and then he gives his opinion.
Yeah.
And the opinion could be good in a lot of cases. And he comes back to you and be like, yo, you should listen to this record. This is such and such and it's dope. So I always admire.
Thank you, Gerald. They still won't give me an A&R job, though.
No, I always admire that about Hasan.
Gerald, let me ask you this question, because I posed this question to Hasan. What is the goal for you? Is the accolades and the achievements, is that the goal for you?
Well,
or is it something else?
I'm not saying that I'm retired, but I'm very happy with what I've done. If I can write down everything that I've done, like, I'm super satisfied.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I look at some of the young guys today, and they're playing for some of the acts that I played for when they were hot. You know, per se, when they were selling millions of records.
Yeah.
And now they're playing for them, and kind of like, I ain't gonna say they're decline, but you know, towards retirement. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just so like godly happy that I was able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm so like, I'm proud of what I've accomplished. I'm proud of what's been given to me as an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was able to achieve a lot without having a lot of what they call like schooling or technical terms or anything like that. It was just like, I was a kid that liked to play the drums in church. Somebody see me playing the drums in church or heard a record that I played on, and then I started playing R&B music.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just was out of there from that point on. And I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad about the relationships and how I can help everybody else that I grew up with or anything. Like, if you call me one day and say, yo, I need to get in touch with such and such and such and such.
Right.
It's like, all right, let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that God kind of took me that route, because it gave me something outside of where I was.
Right.
You know, the church scene was amazing. You know, especially the era that I grew up in. It was amazing. But I needed to be outside of that to be able to now help you guys with what y'all trying to do now.
Oh, buddy, my next question is
So.
getting ready to take us somewhere. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so being that you said that, I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna pose this question. I'm gonna start it like this. All right. A lot of people don't know that while I have some success as a songwriter, and I've been singing gospel professionally for about 30 years now or more, right? I have a 9-to-5.
Right.
I have a 9-to-5, and I actually been working as an essential worker in healthcare for a little over 10 years now, right? My job is dirty. My job is dirty. I'm around blood. I'm gonna get graphic. I'm around blood. I'm around bodily fluids. I'm cleaning things up. It gets really bad, you know. But that's my job. That's my job, right? And then I leave that job. I come home to my family, and then I go to my church, and I lead worship, and I praise the Lord, and I love on my family, right? And that's kind of all of my life.
Right.
You know, and then when time permits, believe it or not, then I get a song in.
Right.
Then I write a song, right? My next question is this. Are some pastors abusing authority or just being overprotective when it comes to condoning musicians and singers to work outside of the church?
Oh, you going there for real?
Yeah.
I chose violence just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really speak on that because I haven't had a church job in about 60 years. But but I said that to say,
I'm not 60.
I said that to say, really my stance on it is outside looking in. You know what I mean? I was brought up in institutional, and one day me and Bishop had a conversation, and he talked about how institutional was fully equipped, which means we had kids writing songs, we had kids singing, we had grown up, we had songwriters, we had musicians, we had everything.
There was a choir for
in-house.
every age, first of all.
Right. It was all in house. But at the same time, there was some abuse going on because the talent that said people had, wasn't being compensated for. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't know about what you call
Publishing?
it, publishing, but they writing hit records.
Albums
They
were being
writing-
made.
The choir, like my church choir, was so famous. You know, like they literally had a gold album. You know, Stretch Out was a gold album, but nobody knew that checks was coming to the church.
The business side.
Nobody knew the business side.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, in the way I grew up under that, and once I learned, you know, how numbers are supposed to be, what's supposed to be in black and white,
Yeah.
you know, I count that as abuse.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because the pastors, maybe even the choir directors, and some of the family, they knew about publishing. They knew about money that should have been being dispersed
Right.
to said writer or song maker or whatever.
Right.
And so I only have that view
Got you.
of the church.
Got
and I
you.
only can speak on it from that aspect. And, you know, nowadays I know it's different. I mean, it's different. You know, you got pastors hiring people to do praise and worship. You got pastors hiring, you know, musicians and different things like that. But in my era and in my space, you know, I don't really want to say this, but like, I'm going to say it. You know, like my uncle was probably making about $200 a week.
Wow.
But my uncle
Wow.
wrote full songs, taught choirs,
Yeah.
and did, you know what I mean? And so to me,
And
that
probably
was-
$200 in a dinner.
that was abuse.
Yeah.
You know, now because I know what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got people like Jakes and all these people, they're hiring musical directors that are getting $50,000 a year, $80,000
And
a
benefits.
year, and benefits and things like that. And so we didn't know about that. But then at the same time, I feel like the head of the church knew. They knew that that's what it should have been. And that's the only thing like I could say about that.
Corey,
like,
what's
you know?
your take on that, man? On that question?
So, I guess for me, at my church, never really been taken advantage of.
Okay.
However, my pastor, he's never blocked any of us from going outside. But on the outside, definitely been taken advantage of.
Right.
I've actually lost outside jobs because pastors have been jealous of some of the opportunities that I've had.
Wow.
And different things like that. But it's definitely a lot of abuse in the church.
When you're going through it, right? When you're experiencing that, do you look at it as abuse? Do you think that, like, initially, do you think, yo, you're trying to stop me from doing something? Or does it ever come across like, well, you know, maybe they're protecting me from something. Like, maybe I shouldn't be going to do this. Like, is it ever that?
Nah, and here's why. Because you knew what I did before I got there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You knew what I did before I got there. And so if you knew that on the weekends or even some days during the week, I'm on the stage doing A, B, and C, you know, and that's how I got there, how are you now going to try to stop me from doing A, B, and C?
Yeah,
when that's putting food
Right.
in my family's
Also.
mouth. Yeah.
Also, right. Yeah, that's wild. Root, you have any take on that?
I don't know if
Any
I'm the
thoughts
right guy.
about it?
I just saw the Jim Jones documentary, so I'm real like on Hulu. I'm just real like control and spiritual abuse is witchcraft.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot in the church.
Yeah.
So I'm not a musician, so I don't know if
Right.
I can really speak to that. But
Right.
Huh? You're a singer. Oh yeah,
You're a singer?
Yes, sir. So I can't speak to that. Bro, give me my money. But nah, it's you from the outside looking in. I've seen it.
Yeah.
and it's a thing. So
Yeah. the reason why I posed this question to you guys, you know, I wanted to talk about that because, you know, the reason why I posed it the way I did by talking about what I do is because I don't see a difference from my secular job to somebody who has a secular job in music, you know, and I don't think that your music job is dirtier than my hospital job. I don't think that you come around things that are probably dangerous outside over there more than what I come across and what I experience and what I'm exposed to. However, I'm not controlled. I'm not stopped. I'm not talked about. But musicians, they get hit hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They get hit hard with, you can't do this and you can't do that if you're going to do this. So, you know, I wanted to get a take on it. And, you know, anybody that's watching, y'all please talk about it in the comments. You know, I definitely would love some feedback.
When I first left from playing with the choir, I felt like Bishop was kind of like nervous for me because I think he felt that he didn't know where I was spiritually. So spiritually, to be able to handle
that
what was
world
out there,
right?
And you were young,
right?
And I was young, but I'm gonna tell you the thing that saved me.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
I learned most things in church. So when I got in the world, when I got in the world, it was like, oh, bro, I was doing that when I was 15.
Wow.
Like, that's corny right now. Like, what you doing?
That's
like,
a whole nother episode.
You 30,
that's a whole nother episode.
you like, yo, you 30 years old, bro. You still doing, you whack. You know, so being in the church, playing in the church, kind of prepared me for the secular experience.
I'm about to walk up the set.
Yeah.
It was
that's crazy.
That's how it was.
But it's real.
It's so real.
Yeah.
Because it just became like, yo, I don't want to be corny. And the way I'm not gonna be corny is to do the opposite.
Yeah, you know better.
Yeah.
Better. Yep.
So it was like, you know, like whatever I didn't do at home, I didn't do on the road. It was like a whole nightlife type of world, a type of environment out there, but that I had a glimpse of while I was in church. And I knew how to deflect. I knew how to separate.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what was in the back of my mind the whole time is, yo, I'm never gonna put myself in a space where I know the devil could try me.
That's crazy.
So I relied on my spirituality that I had, and I knew that I was strong with, and my relationship with God. But I also didn't tempt the devil because he's the devil.
How about
and
that?
He can put something on you.
How about that?
You know what I mean?
Can I say this real quick?
Yeah, come on, man.
So, and Gerald probably didn't even know this. So when I first really met Gerald, everybody knows if you ever saw me back in the day before he moved, I didn't move without my best friend Brian.
Yes, sir.
So we met Gerald together.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, all we ever did was church. Right? So I think God strategically planned that because once we met Gerald and we traveled to rehearsals, we traveled to gigs, and we drove him to gigs and different things like that, we saw how he lived.
You saw the life.
We saw his life on the road. And then after we saw that, it's like God said, okay, you saw how he lived. Now I'm gonna open the door for you guys to do some other stuff besides the gospel world.
Wow.
And that we knew then how to live while we was out on the road.
How to carry yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you never know who's watching.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Again, guys, this month is June, and it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, right? I have to talk about this next topic with the three of you because we are we are all handling life in our own way, and we are all getting through life the best way that we can with God, right? But I want to hear from you, Kevin Lemons, Rudy Mitchell, Aaron Spears. Heavy, big loss. How are you guys coping?
That was not on your card.
Not at all.
That wasn't.
Not at all.
That wasn't on your card.
I'll go first. It's something that I deal with every week.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a week that didn't go by that I didn't talk to Kevin by itself, or that I didn't talk to Kevin with our whole crew.
Yeah.
And even during the pandemic, he, myself, and a couple of other guys, we sat down at the table, and he said to me, he said, "Hey man, I'm at a stage in my life where I can't go nowhere without one of y'all."
Wow.
So I made it my business to travel with him and his choir.
Wow.
We went to LA in the middle of the pandemic. We couldn't go nowhere, but in the hotel we had to walk across the street to Popeyes and then walk back to the hotel. We couldn't even hang out in the lobby of the hotel.
Wow.
But because he needed me there, and I was his brother, I was there with him and his choir in LA. We went to the gig, came back to the hotel, couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
But that was my promise to him, that I'm going to travel with you because you said you needed me. So it's like now, that camaraderie between brotherhood. Me and him, we started out as drummers at the GMWA.
Wow.
And then eventually evolving into choir directors.
Yeah.
It's like that. It really put a hole in my heart. It really did. But with God, and then of course talking with the other brothers, and even now my relationship with his wife.
Nice.
Was even stronger. Like we look out for his wife.
Right.
If she said she needs us, we're in Atlanta.
Right.
So it's a day-to-day process.
Yeah.
But I'm making it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my grandmother will be 85 in November.
Wow.
And I begin to think, like, her friends are just now dying off.
Wow.
In their 80s.
Wow.
And then I look, and like, growing up, her friends weren't not dying in their 40s and 50s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I look at this now, and I'm just like, I never imagined that, someone so close to me would die so early. Yeah. All these guys we're naming, man, Aaron in his early 40s, Kevin Lemon in his early 40s, Rudy 52 years old. Never imagined. Know all of these guys, loved all these guys.
Yeah.
When I heard Aaron passed, these people have families, wives, and kids, but the first person I thought about was Gerald.
Exactly.
Crazy.
And my heart was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm calling Karen, like, how's Gerald? Like, I'm just, because I know the relationship.
Yeah.
So it's just every day, man, I think of Rudy. Still in shock.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, he was sick for a while, but he always bounced back. So I just took it for granted that.
And he never stopped working.
And he never stopped working. I saw him 72 hours before he died. We went to see him, and I remember like everything. We walked in the hospital. Hey Hasan, hey Kim, like real loud, and it's almost like Rudy like tried to prove a point, like I'm good. And I was confident, man. When I walked out of there, I was just like, all right, it's cool. I was like, Rudy, I'm going to Vegas. I'm checking out a spot for Root 15. If it's anything like 10, it's going to be lit.
Yeah.
This is how he's talking. And then 3 days later, so it's just like our world stopped because this is our, all of us grew up together, man. I met you at 19 years old. Right. We family. Yeah. So everybody in this room. So it's just like, it's like a piece of our chain is broken. But what it all boils down to, and that's even just for us sitting here, it all boils down to health. Yeah. And us doing right, you know, by our health, because we're getting older. Yeah. You know, I'll be 50 years old next year. Woo. And yeah, it's just crazy to even think. You know, when you're younger, you think that's old. Right. But it's like really not. Yeah. It's just like, all right, I still feel good or whatever. Sir. But I want to be here another 50 years. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not? So that's what it all boils down to for us. Because when you think about each of those brothers, I remember seeing Kevin walking up in Quiet Fest, you know, coming out of the hospital. I'm just like, oh my God, why? Like, no.
No, and what's crazy is we forbid him. Yeah. We forbid him to leave the hospital. Yeah. And he signed himself out of the hospital.
And I remember.
That's crazy.
And, you know, because sometimes we think, you know, God can do what he want to do, and he can do anything. However, you know, we got to be wise. Yeah. And, you know, we just got to take care of us. And that's not a dig at Kevin or anything like that. Right. It's just us, period. You know what I'm saying? With the fast food and all of this. Like, I don't need to have this belly. Like, it needs to go. So I have to continuously work. It's a battle. But that's what it all boils down to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you shouldn't, you know, some people shouldn't die for us to realize this, man. I don't want that for any of us. I don't want to hear something happen to Estee, Gerald, Corey, Months, like nobody. Like there's just craziness. Yeah. We got to grow old together. I don't want to feel this pain again. Again. Right. Yeah.
Gerald?
Yeah.
Well, my situation is kind of, well, you know, I talk to Aaron every single day. Yeah. At least twice a day, 2 times a day. There was nothing wrong with Aaron. Wow. That I knew of. Right. You know, we talk about a lot of things. I was telling him that, you know, I'm getting myself together. You know, I had high blood pressure numbers. I have diabetes, you know, all of that stuff. And I'm trying to get it under control. Right. And I'm having these conversations with him, but I'm actually trying to make him talk about these things because I didn't think that he had these things, right. But I think that he may have been on his way towards those things. And but it was absolutely nothing wrong with him. Absolutely nothing wrong with him. And the day that he passed away, I was coming back from LA from doing something with our drum company, and he was coming back from celebrating his birthday with his family down in Virginia. So I didn't get to speak to him that day. It was a Sunday. And that Sunday night at around 2:00 in the morning, I got the call from his wife that he passed away. Now, I was totally, just totally unexpected. Everything is just unexpected. And, you know, I deal with it. I have a lot of days where I'm just depressed and I'm like, oh man, I want to talk to my friend. And, you know, I have this, he was on the cover of Modern Drummer a couple of months ago. And I have that magazine. And I remember him sending me that magazine of one of the first issues before it went out to the stores or whatever. And I physically sit in my closet and talk to that magazine as if I was talking to Aaron on the phone because it's therapy for me. It's it's my way of kind of dealing with stuff. And you know, like Corey said, like I'm very close to his wife and very close to his son. I just celebrated his son's 10th birthday. And, you know, so I'm trying to, I don't want to say make it the norm, but I'm just trying to be okay.
Trying to live with it.
I'm trying to live with it. Like, you know, Teddy Campbell said to me something that was it was good. What he said to me was good. He was like, you know, God gives us these people, and they are so amazing at what they do, and we have an amazing relationship with them. And then it's a time where God wants that person with them because of their ability to be amazing in all the areas that they are amazing with you as a friend.
Yeah.
God is like, all right, it's my turn. Like, you had him long enough. Now,
Give me my child back.
he comes back to me. And you know, I was straight up mad. I was mad at God. I was mad because I'm like, you know, you can take like a drug
Anybody
dealer,
else,
somebody
man.
in a cartel.
It's a
I
whole
don't
lot
know,
of other
but
people out here, right?
I just didn't want him
to
take my friend.
Yeah.
And, you know, his wife is young, and, you know, she's like, yo, I don't know how to raise a boy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what my husband was here for.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, you know, God does things in a way that he sees fit.
Yeah.
And I just learned how to deal with it. And I've lost a lot, man. The pandemic has done a lot of things to my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was it's the first time that I felt like, you know, I felt like my job is special. You know, being a musician, being on the road, traveling, like, my job is more special than anybody else's job. And I love it, and it's amazing, right? But in the pandemic, I felt like everybody else was in control of my job. Wow. Because the government, everybody like that, because they basically were saying, okay, yeah, you don't eat no more. You don't feed your family no more. You don't do anything. You just sit and wait until we say different.
Right. Yeah.
So that was the first time that I felt like, yo, my job ain't special, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, in jeopardy, right?
It's like everything felt like I lost control of it.
Especially as a man.
That's
not a good feeling.
And it's like, man, this don't feel good, man.
Yeah.
This don't feel good. And that's when I felt like, you know, a lot of these artists that I work for and all of that, they have the option to take food out of my mouth.
Wow.
Or out of my family's mouth by just waking up saying, oh yeah, I ain't taking the band on tour.
Yeah.
I don't want the band. Or I ain't taking I'm not taking them, but I'm taking Gerald.
Yeah.
Or I'm not taking Gerald, but I'm taking this.
them.
So it's like, I am really sick and tired of someone else
being in control
Your destiny.
of how I feed my family, how I feed myself.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to think about it. When we were coming up, it was like, yo, all I got to do is worry about me. Like, now, you know,
Wasn't
I got
that good back then?
I got a couple of other lives to worry about.
Wasn't life good back then?
Oh man, it's
What
like,
a time to be alive.
yo, it's like, yo, if I don't eat, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right, right.
Like,
I get a
Because
pizza.
I could wake up and eat if I want to. Jeez.
So all of those things just made me, in the pandemic, view things in a different way. And, you know, Hasan already changed the narrative by being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And saying like, yo, I'm in control of how I eat. I'm in control of how I feed my family and everything. So, like, the level that my life is now, I have to start trying to seek out those type of stabilities.
Yeah, and
for
you're
my
not by
family.
yourself.
Yeah. It's like, yo, I'm trying to figure out, like, where do I land where I'm okay and another person is not in charge of me being okay, or not in charge of my family being okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, these guys, the loss of these people, of Jeff Davis, of Aaron, like so many people, has just made me like kind of focus on like, yo, I gotta do more. I gotta figure out more.
More and better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, I mean, I thank God for bringing me this far.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I just, you know, I miss the people that I miss, man.
Yeah.
And You know, I just be having the moments, man, and it's like they uncontrollable. Like I remember walking in my house one day and I'm boohoo crying, and my wife and daughter standing like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was just in the car,
It just hit you.
listening to a song that Jeff Davis played, and it all just like came back to me, and it just it broke me down.
It's trauma, man.
Yo,
it's trauma.
It broke me down.
And it's grief.
Yeah.
It broke me down. So I really want to be out of that space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be out that space. Like, you know, think about it. Everybody here I know have felt this. In the pandemic, you scared to pick up your phone.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because every single solitary day of the pandemic,
it was like somebody passed away.
Somebody passed away.
That was unbelievable.
And it's like, I don't want to pick up my phone.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to
notifications.
I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I've been in that space, and I try to like, you know, kind of like separate myself and just like either be in my room, be in my closet, be like away from my wife, because I don't want her to start feeling how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to pull her into my rabbit hole that I'm going down or whatever. But yeah, I've been kind of going through it for a minute, and you know, hopefully it'll get better. You know, hopefully it'll get better. I miss those guys a lot. You know, like I talk to Aaron's wife every other day, and I remember one day she calling me and just crying and saying, "Did he tell you anything? Did he say, was there anything wrong?" Because
everybody's trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, we just can't make sense of it. And you know, I love Aaron. Aaron's character was more than his drumming.
Most certainly.
You know what I mean? Like he was a phenomenal drummer. Like not too many people could sit down with him, but it was his character.
Even more of a phenomenal person.
He was such a phenomenal person, and that's what drew me to him, and that's what got us to be like super cool before the drums did. I was so excited for him to meet everybody else. Yeah. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta meet this guy. Yeah. Like, not only is he a phenomenal drummer, but his character, like, he is cool. He's like, laid back. He's like, so that was more of my, you know, relationship with Aaron, and he's one of my best friends. But you know,
and that was Rudy too. Like he played the background. I know, real cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant mind as far as this industry. Mind. Man, backwards and forwards. Yeah. So I'm even thinking about even Root 15, like, oh my God, how me and my wife was talking, how are we gonna do this without Rudy? Like he was, you know, the genius behind all production and just so it's these hurdles that we have to get over. It's still new with Aaron. It's not even a year yet. It's a month or so with Rudy. Same with Kevin. So it's we got to get past it. You know, our brothers aren't here.
Right.
We still, we still
and I believe this. I believe that we're gonna be able to manage life.
Yeah.
Right.
With the memories, with all of the pictures, and the great memories that we have of them, we won't let go of them.
Yeah. Oh, certainly.
You know, and while we're still here, we got to hold on and encourage each other. You know, and even get on each other that whip just to remind each other what we need to do. Right.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Listen. I try to do this on every show, and being that this is the first time I'm doing a show in person, I got to do this segment with you guys right here. I got to honor you, let you know how much I love you. I appreciate you guys. Talking about life, man, I'm cherishing your lives right now. I want to give you your flowers now and let you know how much we appreciate you. Everybody in the comments, if you've been rocking with me for a long time, you know what happens at this moment. Y'all go in the comments and y'all give some hearts, some fire emojis. Let's go. The song says appreciation.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. We love these guys right here. I'm going to get Gerald on this track.
Yes, we do. We appreciate you.
Yeah. I love these guys right here, man.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yes, we do. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So listen, we get ready to end this episode, but before we do, I got one more question for Mr. Root. Yo, Hasan, man, can we get a Root Magazine Super Bowl edition? Like, we need to get the Root Magazine with some NFL, They got the whole NFL gospel choir.
That's so
Like
crazy.
they got a whole gospel concert they do. Like, can we get a Root magazine at the Super Bowl?
So that's so funny you say that because, man, probably a couple years after I started, Wayne Graham
Okay.
introduced me to Troy
his bro-
Vincent.
Uh-huh.
And I went up to the NFL offices and all of that.
Oh, come on.
And we were supposed to do some stuff, but the thing with the NFL is it's so much red tape.
Yeah.
And partnering with them and doing things, it was a lot of stuff. So it kind of halted, but we don't know. That's maybe something I may revisit.
Listen,
Because even when
everybody
you-
stretch your hands this way.
Listen, that would be something great. Because
would be
even with
crazy.
my good friend Melanie Few, she does the Super Bowl gospel event, and we've all sung on that event
Yeah.
for years. She was doing it without it being sanctioned.
Oh wow.
And then somebody from the NFL saw her and was just like, you know what, maybe we can get her involved. And it took a couple years
Nice.
for her to even be a sanctioned event, but now that it is, like
And that's just the
really great.
process.
Yeah, it's just a process. So
Yeah.
listen, I receive it, man. I think something like that can happen, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Listen, this has been another episode, well, the first episode of season 5 with Estee's Power of the Pen. I want to thank you all for checking us out. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, all of that great stuff, and join us back here again for another great episode in a few more weeks. Yo, it's been great having y'all, man. Thank you so much for
Dope.
coming on the show, y'all.
Yes.
Great.
Speak loud from within. Make us sing along with the power of the pen. Say what's on your mind. Speak loud from within. Make us sing along